Hello and welcome back to the Eagle-Gryphon Games vlog, and this week we'll conclude the interview of designer Daryl Andrews with part 2, then a component spotlight on the metal coins in Rococo Deluxe. We'll then take a look at a new release of Gangster's Dilemma, which is co-designed by our interviewee, Daryl Andrews, and give you a quick overview of Mystery Rummy Escape from Alcatraz in the Eggs from the Vault segment, and then we'll finish it off with a game giveaway. But first, let's update you on some Kickstarters. The Kickstarter for Mercado de Lisboa is ahead of schedule and the games have left the factory in China. Also, For Sale Advisors, which is the expansion to For Sale, and For Sale Autorama are in production now, and we have received and are evaluating the pre-production copies. You can check out update number 4 on the Kickstarter page for photos. Final production will resume after the Chinese New Year's. We'll keep backers informed of further progress and more specifics as they become available in these vlogs and from updates on the Kickstarter pages themselves. Our next Kickstarter will be March 11th through the 26th for new and old games of Mike Fitzgerald, including Faux Diamonds, baseball and football highlights, roll and rights, and base games, and the Mystery Rummy series. In a recent vlog, we delivered part 1 of an interview with Daryl Andrews, who is well known for his co-design of Sagrada, as well as the Eagle-Gryphon title Gangster's Dilemma that you'll hear more about later in this vlog. So let's welcome back Daryl Andrews for the completion of his interview.
So yeah, Adrian and I met a couple years into me being a board game designer. I happened to move from, I was living in a city called London in Canada, and I moved to a nearby city called Kitchener. And while in the region, I ended up meeting Adrian, who was a new designer. He had a couple games that he was working on, developing, designing, but never had published anything. And I had just recently finally published my first game. And over the last few years before that, had really networked with a lot of designers and publishers and was really learning a lot. I was mentored by a few game designers, and I thought this was an opportunity to pay that forward a bit and connect with who I thought was a really nice guy, and he had some cool ideas. And so Adrian and I started designing together, but really it started with me just playtesting some of his stuff, and even like his very first signed game was a card game that ended up getting signed by a publisher in Germany. But because I loved it so much, I even kind of like represented his game and pitched it around. And then finally we realized we really worked well together. So we decided, let's just make games together. So beyond games, I have a bunch of different hobbies. You can see I'm wearing a Toronto Raptors hat. I like basketball and other sports like baseball and football. So I really enjoy watching sports, and especially live, although who knows what that'll be like in the future. And beyond that, I'm a big movie fan. I got a new dog a little over a year ago, Lincoln, and so he's my little fur ball. We do a lot of hanging out and walking. And beyond that, board games are often on my brain. So even when I'm not designing, I'm enjoying playing them. Yeah, the Gangster's Dilemma game, you can see it right here, was really inspired by Adrian and I wrestling with designing games out of different theories. So Adrian especially comes from a chemistry background, and especially early on when we first started designing, he would sometimes take little lessons or theories that he was learning from his courses, and we tried to wrestle with how can you make a game out of that? And that inspired a few different games of ours, but specifically Gangster's Dilemma, we were thinking about the Prisoner's Dilemma, and this idea of you could either all work together and have an equal slice, but the temptation to kind of betray or speak, if you're the only one, then you enjoy the benefit, but if multiple people talk, then everyone loses that talked. So we thought, well, obviously that sounds really cutthroat, really fun. So we got to be Gangsters. That seemed really on point. And then we wanted to put a wrinkle in it. So we also added the element of what if the gangster's dilemma compared to the prisoner's dilemma featured a bribing element? What would it mean if you could not just either speak or not speak, but what if you could bribe and like you were never there? And so that really helped evolve and open up the design for us, and we had a lot of fun with that. And it took us a while because we really enjoyed playtesting and refining, and we had a bunch of other rules, and through playtesting slowly chopped it down and found, where the fun is and where the focus was. So I can't honestly remember how long it took us to design, but because it was a few years ago, but we slowly refined it over a year or two, and then the process of finding a publisher and then getting it published and all that, it probably was a good 4 years ago that the journey started for that one.
Today we're showcasing these metal coins, which are add-ons that you can use for the newly released Rococo Deluxe. This deluxe version of Rococo includes all previously released expansions and promos, such as the Jewelry Box expansion, as well as an all-new solo expansion, Madame du Barry, designed by Louis and Stefan Malz, along with Matthias Kramer. The game also features premium components including custom poly resin lace and thread tokens, gold foil, heat-stamped, wooden player markers, velveteen cloth bags for garments, silk and jewelry tokens, and an all-new artwork from Ian O'Toole. Tune in next week for an interview with one of the designers of Rococo, Stefan Malz. In Gangster's Dilemma, which is beautifully illustrated by Kwanchai Moria, you play a gangster eager to satisfy the mob boss's demands for loot. Each round, you'll secretly choose to rob one of the city's hotspots in hope of eluding the cops, avoiding other gangsters, and grabbing loot like crates, art, jewels, gin, and cash when possible. But the cops are on patrol at all times, and they randomly search those same hotspots. If caught in the presence of another gangster, do you pay bribes to the cops, stay silent, or rat out your fellow gangsters? What a dilemma! Gangster's Dilemma is a battle of wits as you try to divine what your opponents will do and counter appropriately. The game becomes a race to the loot, as the first player to meet enough of the boss's demands and reach 21 points is the winner. Gangster's Dilemma is designed by Daryl Andrews and Adrian Adamescu, who is most known for Sagrada and Speakeasy Blues, among others, and features beautiful art by Kwanchai Moria, and is great for fans of quick playing card games, lovers of Mafia-style games, and bluffing game enthusiasts. It's for 3 to 7 players, for ages 8 and up, plays in 30 to 45 minutes, and is available now. Simply click the link in the description below to be brought to the product page. Mystery Rummy Escape from Alcatraz is a Rummy-style card game with a twist. There's actual historic escapees in the game that are trying to come up with plans to escape. And they'll be using all different types of plans like attacking the guards, tunneling through walls, and sawing through bars, things that actually happened in Alcatraz. And as these mastermind escapees come up with a perfect plan, you act as a guard trying to foil these plans in order to score points at the end of the round. Players start with 10 cards. On your turn, you're either drawing 2 cards from the draw deck, known as the cell block, or you're drawing a single card from the top of the discard pile, known as the solitary. Then if they like, they can create and play melds of different suits, which are the different plans, like saw through bars. If it's the first time the plan is being played from any players, you need to put at least 3 of them down as a meld. And once per turn when you play cards in front of yourself, you get to draw an action card which do different things, like being able to draw 2 cards from the cell block or any 1 from solitary. And once a meld is formed by any player, any other player can play or lay off a card of that type. And when there's a total of 8 of any plan on the table, between all the players, you can foil that plan. The active player will then select a mastermind, which is an escapee, either matching the actual type of plan color that it is from their hand, or maybe it was available in the yard. Once foiled, these are going to be worth points in the upper right at the end of the game. All other players with at least 1 of those plan cards will also be able to foil it. But they won't be able to take from their hand only from the yard, but they can always use these gray-sided generic escapees as their mastermind, but it's worth less points than the masterminds that are specific to those other plans. Players will score points for all of the cards that they foiled that round. And as a bonus, the player that went out gets 3 points for every escapee in the yard still. However, there's a different way of scoring. If a player goes out with no one having foiled anything, the player that went out gets face value of all the escapees in the yard and no other player scores. A brand new round will be set up, shuffling all the cards, and the first to 100 points wins. Mystery Rummy, Escape from Alcatraz is for 2 to 4 players for ages 8 and up. It takes about 45 minutes to play and is available now. Click the link below to see the product page. Today you saw the conclusion of the interview of co-designer for Gangster's Dilemma, Daryl Andrews, and you saw a quick overview of Gangster's Dilemma. And now you can win your very own copy. One copy will be given away today. To simply enter, you subscribe and comment below. That's it. Now when commenting, we encourage you to let us know your favorite segment of the vlog this week and what you'd like to see in future vlogs. Now you have 1 week from when this video is launched to enter. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's Eagle-Gryphon Games vlog. You can click the playlist link below to see all of the past vlogs, and we'll see you next week.